Well, good evening, Qigong practitioners, and it is dark. um, this summer, doing this here in this room, sometimes the light would be streaming in so much I'd have to close the curtain, but it's what we got here. So, um, one of the concepts we're going to play with today, it will be really obvious to you, anyone who's practiced at all. And that has to do with feeling good. You know that what I say sometimes is that we do this to feel good. If we're doing anything and it causes pain, then don't do it. Change it. And you've all experienced this. You know, the good feeling, the pleasure that comes with moving the body in this way and with meditating in this way. And there's definitely this palpable sense of anything from sort of pleasure, you know, all the way up to sort of these blissful feelings. And that's fine. And that's a fruit of the practice. That's a fruit of any spiritual practice, I think. And it's good. And we like that. We want that. At the same time, it's not the goal. Okay, or it's not necessarily the goal. It can be your goal if that's what you want. But feeling pleasure, as the Buddha teaches, everything arises with its opposite. So it co-arises. So if there's pleasure, then there's pain. It may not be feeling it at the moment, but it's in comparison to what we call pleasure. So we're still in the pleasure-pain paradigm. We're still in this yin and yang world, okay? And if we stay with pleasure and we get used to that, we're going to go seeking pleasure in any number of ways, okay? Some which may not be the best. Also, what do we do when we don't feel pleasure, when we feel pain? You know, how do we practice? We don't want pleasure to become a requirement for us to feel good, okay? For us to be able to practice. And so what we need to do whenever we encounter this kind of thing and we get caught in this, whatever it happens to be, yin and yang, we have to realize, number one, that it's all changing and it's all moving and it's temporary. That's part of it. Whether it's pleasure or pain, it's temporary. And we need to recognize that it is a perception. Okay, and this is the Buddhist teaching on this. So this is the third foundation of mindfulness. So when we say we're feeling good, there is an I that's perceiving something. Okay, so by definition, we're separate from whatever the experience is because we've labeled it and we've created a self to relate to it. Okay, and again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just describing what's happening. And so in order to move beyond, the goal isn't to feel good. The goal is to be free. Okay, so free from pain, free from suffering, free from pleasure. It's all part of the same paradigm. So when we reach that point of feeling good, and so many times I've done Qigong, thousands of times, and walked away feeling great, and that's fine. I'm not putting that down. It's just that then is a platform to move into this boundless awareness. Okay, so that we're not caught in physical sensation, whether it's pleasure or pain. Okay, so we're going to be moving toward that and then segueing into it. But the one caveat is when you start feeling good, that's good. I'm not saying, okay, so just go with it. So let's begin with either standing mountain or standing posture number 1. And with the out breath, relax. Let everything soften. Let your gaze soften. Let the shoulders soften. Let your face soften. Let the belly be very soft. The out breath softens everything. So letting go of clinging. The in breath lifts us up, straightens us up. The out breath softens. The out breath moves down the body. The in breath moves up the body. And the vertical laser beam of light is within the body, going up into the universe, down into the planet. And you can sense or imagine, it feels like that there's something surrounding the body. Particularly, you can feel the hands. So this is referred to as a column, but it's a field or a sphere as well. It's just whatever, however you want to think of it. But it's tactile. And then when you do a breath practice like breathing the stars, when you breathe in from all directions, the pores of the skin, so you're breathing in that chi, that universal life force energy that you can sense as this tingling aliveness. You're breathing that in and magnifying it. So brightening the body, gladdening the mind. Okay, and let's go ahead and bow to the 7 directions, starting with north. Bowing to the north. Turning clockwise. And bowing to the east. Bowing to the south. To the west. And back to the front. So extending up, stretching, extending the awareness up. Sun, the moon, the stars, space. And touching earth. And then finally within. Okay, and it's beginning with the neck and shoulders. You want to breathe with this. In breath, out breath. And then reversing. Okay. If you can feel anything in the upper back of the neck that's tight, my teacher, Tricia Yu, says just if you feel a place or can find a place that's tight, just hang out there and just let the weight of the head just gently stretch that muscle. Maybe about 15 seconds or so until you feel it let go. So this can release tightness all the way down into the upper back. All right. And so then with breath practice, expanding, in breath, out breath. My teacher, Gabrielle, called this waking up and going to sleep. Waking up, looking up, going to sleep, looking down. In breath, waking up. Out breath, going to sleep. In breath, being born. Out breath, letting go. Okay, so rocking the pelvis. So we're sort of flattening the lower back and then arching the lower back. That's what's happening with the lower spine. We're just working that. And then we're rocking the pelvic, what they call the pelvic girdle, on the tops, the femurs on the tops of the long leg bones, keeping this, the center of the body, keeping it loose, flexible. Okay, and then circling the hips. So viewed from above, this is making a circle. And we need to engage the legs to do this because we're moving the whole thing. And this is really keeping the lower spine supple. Okay, and once we've loosened this, then it's a little easier to do the balancing. So it's as if the hands, I call this playing the piano. Teacher Lee called this playing the piano. But we're just resting the hands on a counter or something. So shift, sink and shift into the left, and then let the right heel come up. Now the visualization here is that central axis of light, that laser beam is now going through the one foot. And now we place the other one down. We move that laser beam over till it's completely over the right foot. Then the left heel comes up. And since that center line is there, we're balanced. And you dip the knee and go a little lower. It's a little easier to stay upright. Okay, so, and then you can do the standing posture if you like, golden pheasant. And you can do a kick. See if I can get my foot up high enough. You can see it. It's not. All right, let's go into the two cloud hands movements. But starting with the palms up and down as if they're connected here. So moving the direction of the upper hand and then switch. And remember to breathe with the movement. Do it slow or faster so that you just take an in-breath and then an out-breath as you go side to side. These are cloud hands. Hands are very light. It's almost as if they're breathing. Okay, let's do one more each side. And then just continue with the palms facing each other now. So switch the hands on the right and the left. You can regulate your breathing by how fast you do this. Virtually all practices are breath practices. They're a movement, a moving representation of breath. So breathe in, breathe out. We want to do all the movements in rhythm with the breath. And you can use the movements to regulate the breath and other way around. It's not a matter of getting the movement done, so to speak. It's a matter of moving with the breath. Now, the ancients say that the hands are breathing. The palms of the hands are actually breathing. If you want a little bit for the mind to do, you can count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, or however you like. It's just optional. And sensing the palms, feeling the palms. And when you feel the palms, there's a little echo in each foot. Okay, let's reduce the movement little by little. So then just now playing with this vertically. Okay, now let's go into diagonal flying. And this one, the lower hand, is the side to which we're going to move. So this lower hand is going to shoot up diagonally, and the eyes are going to follow it, and the other hand's going to go back in a balance of it. Okay, so rewind. So the lower hand is going to lead this time. You might want to widen your stance. So we're going to wind up. So my left hand's lower. So I'm going to wind up to the right, sink down, wind up, unwind, and throw the hand out. And then come back. Now that hand's on top. Okay. Now we're going to turn, sink, wind up, and throw that hand out. And that one comes back on top. Wind up, release. Now the hands switch. Wind up, release. This is an out breath as it goes out. In breath as it comes back. Out breath. Out breath. The in breath is the wind up. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Sink and turn. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe out, breathe in. The basis of this is a martial arts move, which is an upward strike and a downward block. So there's a lot of power in it. The power is generated by the legs and by the turning of the hips and the shifting of the weight. And then sending it out is a release of breath. Now you can do this very gently if you want, almost like underwater. Or you can do it very energetically. Depending how you feel. Okay, let's reduce the movement. Maybe sense into the hands. Bring the hands closer, farther apart. Now there may be a shadow of this, an echo of this inside the body. You can feel the chi moving inside the body as you move it outside the body with the hands. So breathe with this. So in breath goes up. Out breath goes down. And the opposite happens too. So since both hands are moving, there's a sense in the body of moving up and down at the same time. So moving up the inside of the spine, down the inside of the spine. Okay, and then as we turn the palms to face the body, so this creates a closed system. Okay, so let's sink the knees. So in breath, the upper hand's moving up and out. Start the next one. So this is a microcosmic orbit. So moving the chi in the body, up the back, down the front, just as the hands are doing. This goes all the way from the perineum up to the top of the head. So this is gladdening the body, gladdening the mind, moving this energy, sensing it. This is our life force energy. It's the difference between this right now and a body that's dead, which has no life force energy. This is the essence. This is our life that we're moving. And it's not just ours. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Okay, let's go into boat rowing in the stream of air. So begins, take an in breath and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. This is the whole body moving with the breath. Okay, the hands go behind the body. So this is it's an in-breath, straightening up, an out-breath when we bend at the waist. Or with all these breathings, it can be the opposite, as long as it's in the rhythm with the movement. You can do it, you can breathe in as you go down, breathe out as you go up. So don't worry about it, just feel it. Let's just do a couple more and reduce the movement. So with Chunyi Lin, who teaches Qi healing, you may notice that your middle finger will tend to bend down, or maybe your first finger. As you're doing these, it's just natural. After a while, it's just how the hand responds. Okay, that's up and down, front to back. Let's go side to side now. So just start small, lift the shoulder, turn, lift the shoulder, lift the shoulder and the heel. So these are really shoulder rolls that we're doing. Circling the shoulder. Widen the stance a little. And enlarge the movement. So this is like cloud hands. The hands are going to shift. You can watch your hands if you like. And we're going to turn the waist. So we're turning backwards to the side, I should say. And this is another one. You can do this energetically by dipping the knees and turning. You'll send the hands up with a lot of power. That'll change the rhythm of the breath. Or you can do this much more slowly. Breath gets deeper. It's totally okay to breathe out your mouth with some of these more energetic movements. But all the teachers I've studied with caution not to breathe in your mouth. Breathe in the nose and out the mouth or out the nose. So maybe really get the sense we're not moving the hands, the arms much. We're mostly shifting the weight, sinking the weight, turning, twisting. Okay, reduce. All right, let's go into crane walks the riverbank. So you remember that the arm movements. Come up to about shoulder height. And then we're going to be shifting the weight. And we're going to be raising the opposite leg to the arm. So we're going to shift with the arm. And so with the breath. Keep your balance, sink down. Let's reduce. All right, now let's go into flying cranes. And many of you know many variations on this. So the outer crane, the inner crane. You can touch your fingers to your thumb. You can come down in stages. Do one-legged. Smile a little bit. It's a well-known fact that flying cranes often smile. And let's reduce the movements. Come back to standing. And use the out breath now just to completely relax the muscles. And maybe get a sense, feel the organs in the body. Check out the heartbeat. And the tingling sensations in the hands and in the body. Maybe the heat. Okay, let's go ahead when you're ready and bring up your stool or cushion. Just relax into the sitting posture. Notice the breath. Okay, and remember, if you like, and re-embody any of the movements we did. Cloud hands or diagonal flying. Flying crane, any of the movements we've done. And bring them to mind as you're breathing with them. Smile a little bit. And if you're remembering the movements, that's the imagery is in the mind, but the sensations are in the body. Okay, now let's drop back and just notice the body moving with the breath. Notice the heart, the warmth of the body, the tingling in the body. The mind is a tingling field of energy. The body is a tingling field of energy. Within this field, sensations can arise. Feeling the breath, feeling the pressure on the stool, on the ground. Sensations arise in the field of the energy of the body-mind. Not only sensations arise, thoughts can arise in the same field. The sensations are just electrical impulses. They're tingling. The thoughts are just electrical impulses. They're synapses firing in the brain. They're just energy. The field in which all of this arises, all these perceptions, whether it's physical sensations, sense input, thoughts, feelings, whatever it is, whatever appears, arises in this field. The field is alive and conscious. The field is what perceives all of this coming and going. The field extends way beyond the body and beyond space itself. Existed long before we were born. Is ever present. Merge with this tingling field of energy. Be very still. Be so still that no thought appears. There's nothing but energy. The breath is happening. The body is here. Perceptions of these things arise and pass away in a moment. Rest in the pure awareness of everything arising and passing away. Breath becomes very subtle. And smile just a little bit. This energy gives rise not only to sensations and thoughts, but to the body and the mind. The body-mind is a child, in a sense, or a manifestation of this pure awareness. Now just check in with the body. Would you say the body feels good? Or does that diminish what's really happening? The body-mind is in harmony and is not separate from boundless awareness. There is nobody to judge it. So in this space of awareness, this is where we can begin a process of investigation or insight. Because any mental object we bring into this can transform. So in your practice, if you're sitting or moving, if you're doing meditation and you find yourself in this space, enjoy it, and you can bring in anything, thought, memory, question, problem, any hindrance, any object, into this space, will eventually dissolve into it. Okay, so let's take a couple more breaths. And slowly move your hands. Okay, so let's do our closing. So on a count of 3, we'll clap our hands once. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Massage the eye sockets. Comb back the hair. Tug on the ears. And tap the kidneys. And massage the kidneys. Okay, good. And if you'd like to stay with us for questions and comments, we'll stop the recording.